you might not have noticed, but Scott Snyder actually did a comic book stream last night on this weird show where they've got a weird gay trans flag thing, the CW show. I guess that stands for Chad and Matt, where they've got their blue sky in their handles here. It's just really, really funny. Now, I've noticed a trend with comic pros. It's really, really weird. They go on these channels where there's like 400, 500 subscribers that they know nobody's going to watch. It's like they have like a promotion streaming they have to do or something like that, and they just make sure that they go nowhere anybody's going to see it or anybody's going to notice anything, so that they like don't get into any kind of trouble, I guess, with their like weird leftist crew that runs the Whisper Network. And so they don't come on real channels that actually have followers like here. They just do this. It's such a bizarre marketing strategy, because how is going on this channel that, you know, they had 3 live viewers last night for real, and not just the beginning of the show, the whole way through. 3, I think they got 4 or 5 max at a time. How is doing that going to promote anything? Why would you spend 2 hours doing that if you're writing the most successful thing DC Comics has going, if things are going great, if it doesn't make any sense whatsoever? This is pretty wild. So I'm going to get into kind of what they were talking about here and why this is such a troubling situation for the DC Universe in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us as we talk about all things in comics. This is what we saw with Scott Snyder here. My name is John Delarose. I am a comic writer myself, blacklisted from the mainstream industry, of course, because I say the things that, you know, common people just understand, and it's just common sense. It's like, this is not good. Obviously, what DC's doing is kind of not working, and there's a problem. You're not allowed to say that. You get them trying to torpedo you personally. It's very, very weird. So this is my newsletter. You can sign up here and get 3 free books: a full graphic novel, a superhero graphic novel. If you like Batgirl, Supergirl, Flying Sparks is a great one for you. I definitely modeled it after Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl run back when Stephanie Brown had the mantle, and I thought that was one of the best comic books ever. So I started my superhero universe there. I've got a lot of different superheroes you can check out. I've got a full online bookstore with those in the description below as well. This is a good spot to start, though. But you also get a science fiction novel and a fantasy novel for signing up, a $50 value for nothing. So I love to have you here. Connect with me. I've got some of the coolest stuff ever coming out this year, and I'm so excited to get it to you. We just wrapped up another $25,000 campaign. Thank you guys for supporting us on that level, and we've got the best yet to come. So things are building here, but things are really shrinking in the mainstream comic book industry. There's like an all hands on deck, at least there should be, major problems there. That's why Scott Snyder did the whole all in. You don't go all in unless you're desperate, right? You don't go all in unless there's problems going on. So they kind of tacitly admitted there were problems last year when they ran this initiative, and they said this was all going on. And I was hearing that this is DC's real last gasp effort to try to make a profit and try to get things going forward, because they keep rebooting. The returns on the reboots keep getting less. It's less hype. Things are not going well all the way around. And that's actually the case with comic shops right now and what's going on. Now, if you don't know, the major distributor, Diamond Distribution, went bankrupt in January, and they had $30 million plus in debts. And because of that, all these companies are hurting, especially these bottom-end companies. A lot of them have done videos. You should go watch those interesting business videos on IDW having problems, Valiant Comics having problems. It's going down the line. I've got some lines on another one that could be a major disaster coming soon. I'll be covering soon. But this also impacts Marvel and DC Comics, because this distribution, while they run their own distribution elsewhere, they sub-distribute through Diamond and, of course, lose money on this level as well. And when there's others losing money and things going out of business, it brings everybody down, because the comic shop is so niche and so insular at this point. So Scott Snyder had kind of a win last year with Absolute Batman. People checked it out. Batman is the only title people care about in DC Comics. And so Absolute Batman sold a bunch based on a lot of weird like variant cover incentives and things like that. It'd be interesting to see what the actual readership is now that we're on to like issue 5 or 6, but they don't give those numbers. Now, we do know it's still like the top seller in comic shops pretty much. And Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman have fallen off quite a bit around the same time. Now, those have not fallen to bad numbers. They're still outperforming the regular universe counterparts, but they are dropping pretty quickly as interest in those is waning. So this is where it's at. Absolute Batman, I'd say most people say it's pretty entertaining, pretty good. I read the first couple of issues. It just doesn't feel like Batman to me. Doesn't feel like a real Batman character. And so I was like, I've seen over the top, crazy, action before, which I like. There's nothing wrong with that. I just thought it was like, and I was a little offended that they replaced Barbara Gordon and turned her into a black lady. Which was a very obvious woke virtue signal from Scott Snyder, which, it's like, why do you do stuff like that in 2024, 2025? But it is what it is. This is what they do everywhere. So Scott Snyder was running this last night, going on this channel to promote with these people, and he promoted it on his X. He promoted it all over, telling people he was going to be on here. And this is a sign that, like, his stardom really is not there. And this is why I think, how many actual readers of Absolute Batman are there, and what's going on here? Because, if somebody's really selling 300,000 copies and has that big of a deal, you'd expect that, maybe you'd get more than 3 people watching live. And so here's a screenshot from part of it. Here it is, 3 people watching. And this is not just at the start of the stream. This is an hour into the stream. Only 3 people are watching this show with Scott Snyder on it. This is wild. This is a wake-up call that, like, there is no celebrity in comics. Nobody cares about comics. Scott Snyder cannot be a draw for a comic book channel at all. I mean, you'd think, again, if he's really selling 300,000 copies and he has that many fans going for him, you would have maybe 100, 200 people here, even on a channel that nobody's heard of before, because he announced it. And that's crazy to me. This is a wake-up call that people are not caring. They're not tuning in. Now, what's interesting on this channel, he talked about things about the Absolute Universe for a while, and he said that Jason Aaron, he actually wanted him to write Absolute Batman at first. Thank God that didn't happen, because Absolute Superman's a mess. But that was one of the things he said. A lot of boring talk on here, and these guys are not great hosts who are charismatic at all. They're pretty rough. So there is that, for sure. But at the same time, it is Scott Snyder talking about the Absolute Universe, and he gives a lot of information about what's happened, what's coming. This is stuff comic fans should be interested in theory, right? He got into Absolute Martian Manhunter, which is a new book coming out in the series, and I thought this was really weird. And you could see, again, like, the covers are very weird, odd stuff. And Denise Camp is being brought in. He's like the guy who's getting all the diversity work right now. He got on the Ultimates and turned that into a terrible political nightmare. So this is something that's probably not going to go well, just because, again, people don't really like his work that much. And as you can see, the art's kind of funky and stylized and weird. And on top of it, it's Denise Camp, so it's going to be politically weird and all that. So Scott Snyder said this sold 120,000 copies for the issue 1. And I'm just like, again, something's not adding up here. You're on a channel like this promoting. Nobody watched. Even now, like, look, there's 39 views on this, and almost a day later. Very weird. And my spider senses are telling me something's wrong here. There's no way a book like that sells 120,000 copies in today's environment. I just don't see that happening. It seems like a lie to me. It seems like there's problems going on here. And again, I just see massive problems. If you listen to Scott Snyder, he keeps talking about how he's really nervous doing this, and he feels like a pretender, and he gives a lot of imposter syndrome sort of things. And when I hear stuff like that, I hear people talking about success and all that, it seems to me that there probably is something fake going on, and that this, quote, success is not nearly what they're saying it is. They are propping things up and pretending to try to make it marketing, to try to pretend there's more buzz going on for the Absolute Universe than there actually is. Because I could see all of these. Absolute Martian Manhunter, there's no way people are interested in that. Absolute Green Lantern with some black whatever insert in there again, no way people are interested in that. And they're putting the usual suspects on these books as well. So it's strange stuff. Nothing's changing on this regard. I just don't see that enthusiasm lasting very long. Now, he says he's going for Absolute Batman. He's got it scripted through at least 24 issues, and I could see this going well on Batman for a while because it just says Batman on it. That's what happens. But the rest of the line, I think it's dying on the vine, and I think they're in trouble. And I think this is an indication of that because there should be more people interested in this if there was an actual groundswell of people reading and saying that these books are phenomenal and being super hype about it. Very, very weird. Now, Scott Snyder, Scott Snyder has how many followers on X? 240,000. Again, you're promoting this. There's no way 3 people should be watching this if all this is real. It all seems fake to me. There's something going on that's wrong here, and it's very, very obvious at this juncture. So, what do you think, guys? Is this all propped up? Are these numbers fake? Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to get on my newsletter, and we'll be back soon.